Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. I'm Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. This is my weekly live that I do every Wednesday here on my Facebook page. I started it 101 episodes ago. I just go through all the different products and how to use them. Obviously, I'm recycling at this point, and even just new products that come out. Always going through new and great things. We have a new catalog coming out soon. I can't wait to get my hands on some of this stuff. Yeah, so today I'm actually kind of going backwards a little bit. I've done this, well, I've used this product before. Haven't necessarily done these techniques. It was actually, I had a whole other plan for today and my stuff didn't arrive. So I had to switch gears last night and I happened to see our CEO, Sarah Douglas. She did a little video on the embossing paste and that got my brain kind of thinking, how can I take this? And I like to, if I'm casing someone else, which is just basically using their idea, I like to try and put a twist on it or try and take it one step further or just change it up so that it's my own. So they were just playing with the paste yesterday and I came up with 3 ways you can kind of add on to that. So that's what we're going to look at today is the embossing paste. It is in our annual catalog. I'm going to be making some Christmassy, wintry projects with that, and hopefully it gets you creating. And I purposely do this at noontime during the week because my hope, when I started this, it was during COVID and lockdown and all that. So my hope was that, lunchtime, you have a break, you want to kind of change gears, de-stress, just kind of switch gears with your brain. I thought it would be a nice thing for people to watch. So hopefully you enjoy these. If you're watching, let me know. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. Please share. I do, my replays are on my Facebook page, but I also post them on my YouTube channel. So if you have friends that maybe aren't on Facebook, but they look at YouTube, you can always send them there. All right, let's do the transition and let's get started here. Oops. Can't get it in the holder today. Okay. Make sure we're in focus here. All right, let's just pull it up. Onto my iPad, so hopefully I can see comments if there are some. I've been having lots of fun with my comments. Oh, I'm gonna turn the volume off on this one. There we go. Okay, we're in business here. So the embossing paste can be found on page 128 of our annual catalog. There is a matte finish and a shimmery white finish available. So the part that's kind of cool that they were doing yesterday is they were mixing the 2 finishes. And I never had thought to do that. And it actually creates quite the texture. So that's what we're going to do today. The palette knives are also another thing that you are handy to have to use with the paste, which I will be using. Those can be found here as well. And then either the silicone sheet, which I'm not sure which page that's on. I'm actually just going to use a window sheet, and I'm just recycling one of the ones that comes in our photopolymer sets. Usually the stamp set is on this window sheet piece and then there's a lighter piece on top. I take them off of my window sheets and I keep these to use, and I just stick the actual photopolymer to the back of the stamp case. So here you can see I've taken them all off the sheet like this, and they're just stuck because that way they're right on the image, so I kind of know what I'm taking. I prefer it, and then it's not shaking around either. So if you drop your stamp case and it falls open, things don't just fly everywhere. Anyways, that's just a me thing. If it helps you, great. Maybe you organize your stuff differently. Whatever suits your fancy. I am also going to be using the Celebrate Tags bundle, which can be found in our current July to December mini catalog. I always call it the winter catalog, so I don't know the exact dates, but it will be ending at the end of December. So watch for that. Actually, December 1st is when the last chance list comes out, so all the retired stuff comes out, and there's discounted stuff. So make a list now as to kind of stuff that you want. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post the list. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, so that's what we are working with today. I've got my scrap piece of paper, nicely used, and my vellum sheet. So as you can see, I mean, unless I was to rinse it under water, the paste does kind of build up on it, so I can just kind of toss it when I'm done with it, or until when it's really gunky and can't be used anymore. So that's what I'm starting with. So first, we're just going to do a little mini project. So this is one of the tags that is in our tags bundle. So this is actually a two-piece die. Oops, two sheet die. I don't know, what do you call it? So there is a front and a back. So this is the one that we're doing. So it's actually kind of a gift card holder. And I don't know if you can see in the video, there's the embossed lines. So you can just fold on the lines. And these ones are teeny tiny. I wish they were a little bit bigger because they're a little bit too small for the tear and tape, but the multi-purpose glue works well. You just have to kind of hold it for a few seconds to get it to stay closed. But I'm just closing it because I'm going to color it, and I just want to color this one side. Not that it really matters that much, but just so I kind of know where things are at. I'm going to take some Night of Navy and a blender brush. You know me and my blender brushes. Can't go anywhere without them. So this is going to get stuck down to the, well, actually I didn't end up, my plan was to stick it down to a card, so I didn't really care what it ended up looking like. So since I haven't stuck it down, I'll be a little bit more careful. You know how your plans change. You have one idea in your head and then you kind of zig. Things become different than what you had originally planned. Okay, so the one thing I want you to know, when you put color on your paper and then you add the embossing paste, the paste will take on some color from the ink. I haven't tried where I've let it dry like overnight and then put the paste on to see if it still absorbs. I would think it would, but don't quote me on that because I haven't tried it. But I know, like right now, since I'm going to do it, it's as dry. I mean, our inks dry pretty much instantly, but it still is enough to soak in. So here I've just cut out a piece of our, and you can see it doesn't stick as well either because it is a bit wet. I probably should have dried it a little. We have our masking paper that was new this year in our annual catalog. So I just cut a piece and then I die cut the snowflake from the same die set here, the little snowflake. And I cut it out. So instead of using the actual snowflake, so here's my snowflake piece. So I could use that and put paste around it. But here I'm just going to use it as a mask, and I'm going to put the paste so that it makes a snowflake. And I'm not coloring the paste. I'm just gonna use so you can, here's the telltale sign that my paste is old because it has the green, this is an old label. So they're super old. One of mine I had to toss because it was dry. I do keep them sealed in the Ziploc bag because it's just one more airtight layer to keep it in. I keep the, there's a foamy, this piece, I keep that. And I keep it in the lid so that it just kind of seals that. And then I left some of the thing. So when you're working with it, don't leave it open. I just take my paste and then I'm just going to close it right away. You don't have to put it in the bag, but seal it real good because it does, if you've ever used like, you know, the drywall putty and stuff, it's kind of like that. It just dries up. So you want to make sure it stays wet for you so you can use it for a really long time, obviously, like I do. I go through cycles where I use it and then I forget about it because it's one of those things that you don't leave out, or I don't anyways. Maybe I should find a spot for it, but I don't leave it out on my desk, so then it's not always kind of front and center. So you can see I'm trying to build up a bit of a layer. You could build multiple layers as you go if you let it dry, if you've got the time, but since we're on kind of on a time crunch here, so I've got a baby wipe, and again I wipe my tools right away because they do dry on and then it's really hard to get it off. And you also want to take your mask off right away because otherwise if it dries you won't be able to get it off. And the masking paper is quite thin, so it'll probably just tear if you let it dry too much. And you kind of want to pull it against the cuts, and then you have a pretty little snowflake like so. So you could, I could reuse this and try anyways. I could let it dry. Kind of hard though, because to push it down would be difficult once it's got gunk all over it, but you can see already how it's pulling the blue into the snowflake. So even though that was the white shimmery embossing paste, it's turning blue. So let me show you the finished. So I glued it up together. So look how blue it became. That's the exact same white embossing paste that just pulled in the blue ink. So it almost is like the Tahitian Tide, which is the ribbon that I used. And Meg Loven, a demonstrator out of the US, she demonstrated this way of making a project. It wasn't using this, but again, take it and twist it up, right? So I took a piece of chocolate. Aren't these cute? These little snowman chocolate. And the way that you wrap the ribbon, it ends up, you just have to pull the bow and it comes in and out like so. So that's a cute little, this goes with my card that I'm making next. So that'll be a little addition to my card. I do have a monthly stamp club, and this is not this exact one, but I'm going to show them how to make these little projects, and you can make them to any size. You just have to adjust to your measurements. So it's kind of cool. So you can make, like if you've got a big, I don't know, a big chocolate bar or something, you could make a wrap for a chocolate bar and do the same kind of thing. Or you could just put a gift card inside. Either way, it's a fun little thing to play with. All right, next up, we're going to color some embossing paste. But first, we're going to stamp a background and then add the paste. So we kind of have two things going on in the background. We have the stamp background, and then we're going to have the paste. So I've got just a piece of Whisper, it's not Whisper White anymore, Basic White regular thickness paper, not the thick one. I'm going to take my Tahitian Tide stamp pad. Now I have the mitten from the Celebrate Tags stamp set, and I am taking the Knit Together background stamp. This is the best way to get a knitted look mitten, which I think is so cute on this mitt. So all you have to do is ink up your mitten. Okay, nice and juicy. Then you're going to stamp it off onto the knit background, and then you can stamp it onto your paper, and you get this knitted look instead of, here, let me show you. If I just ink this up and stamp it down, you have a solid mitt versus the knitted look mitt. So depends on the look that you're going for. Then I have pre-cut 2 pieces of masking paper, again using the mitten dies from the same bundle. Look at me, I'm using all one bundle today. Usually it's like mix and match and all over the place. Today it's all one. So I'm just gonna, because I want to layer my mitts, I'm gonna mask off the one. And then we will ink up this again, stamp it off, and I'll have a second mitten over here. Okay, then we can set this aside. Then we're going to take our other mask here. So I tried the first time when I did this, and you'll see when I show you the project, I used just a cutout mitten to put on the second one, but the paste ended up going underneath. So I think it's better if you use a masking paper or any, like if you have a 3M adhesive backed paper, whatever you have. The masking paper is great though. I love that they brought that in. Okay, so I've got my mitts all masked, and now comes in time for the paste. So I've said we're going to mix the matte paste and the shimmery paste. Take it out of the bag here. This one you'll see is getting a little dry on me. I don't know how this one, I just opened this one because the other one was dry. There was only a bit left. This one, there's quite a bit left. It's a little harder than the sparkly paste, but it's still usable. And I remember seeing something somewhere that you can add like a bit of, I don't know if it's water, but I find even just adding some re-inker softens it up too. So you just kind of have to work it with some re-inker. So I have the 2 different knives going. Just one is for the matte paste and one is for the shimmery, just so I don't have to clean them in between. So I'm just putting 1 drop because these are super dark colors. This one is the Night of Navy. And then I'm going to take some shimmery white. I'll put a drop of Starry Sky. Then we're just going to mix them up. Oh, there we go. I hadn't seen any comments, and I just... Hello, Linda. Hello, Yolande. Okay. I think Yolande said she can't listen, but I can. My sun is shining right on my screen. Can't complain. I love the sun. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it not total, like I kind of like that it's not all one color, so I'm not going to mix it too much, but enough. Then we've got this nice, I love this starry sky. I love kind of the bluey purple. Love it. All right. So then you're just going to take it and just get crazy. You get not too crazy, but you know, like be kind of, I don't want to say artsy about it, but whimsical. And like, it's okay if you've got like a big chunk hanging up high. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to try and use most of it because I don't want to waste it. And since I have to move on to the next project, just clean that off so it doesn't, because honestly, when you only have a thin layer, it will dry pretty quick. The thicker layer obviously is going to take longer. So but see, when you start mixing the shimmery and the, I like to use the back of this knife. It just kind of adds that extra pop of texture when you've got both of them mixed in. What do you guys think? Have you tried playing with both? Did you guys see Sarah Douglas's video? Okay, you're probably wondering why. Oh, I left too much of a thing here. I'm trying to cover my, where I want to cover my mittens, but not fully cover my mittens because I have to be able to peel it. Okay, so I've got that cleaned off. I'm just going to wipe this also so that I can use it for my next color, my next project. And just be forewarned, once again, you're going to come out of here with glittery, messy hands. But isn't it the time of year where we always have glittery hands? It's better than dirty hands, I guess. Dirt-ridden, covered hands. Okay, then we have to somehow peel up our mittens. And again, you don't want to leave it to dry for too long. So I've got my one mitt here, and again, pull it against the where your paste is so you get a nice clean line. So there's one mitt. Where can I put it? Just over here. Okay, and then we've got a nice spot to take our second mitt from here. And I forgot, I gotta make sure I do it with my next one because it's bigger. I usually, those of you who've watched before, I usually unstickify, is that a word? The masking paper on a shirt or something to add some lint to it, just so it's less sticky. Because sometimes, especially since I have an ink, you can see it's tearing and leaving some behind. I'll have to peel it carefully because it is such light paper. It didn't, so the problem with this is you could end up pulling off some of the ink. So I should have added some lint to it first. I just totally forgot, you know. It's excited, get started. There's a little bit more here. I need tweezers. I don't think I have, do I have a pair of tweezers? Might have to leave that there for, oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. So we have our stamped, so it's almost like they're inset, and then you've got, I don't know if you can see that nice texture, and then you've got your mittens. So I let that dry overnight. It probably, I would think like at least an hour. Not totally sure, depends how thick your layer is. And so now it's like, you know, you can see it's got all the nice texture, but it's completely hard and dry. I won't go in. Here's my little, oops, my little oopsie. I could probably try and scrape it, but I don't want to make a mess of it. So I just left it. It's fine. And I just added a bit of native navy and then on to white. And then you have a really pretty different kind of card. For wipes, I just use baby wipes. I buy the big box. I don't have any babies anymore, but I buy the big Costco box of wipes. So it's just like the Kirkland brand, cheap. I mean, I probably have a box for more than a year or two. Just depends how many projects, messy projects like this I'm doing. But yeah, I just use, I was thinking though, I usually avoid the alcohol wipes. These ones I think are just water-based, but alcohol helps clean a lot of our stuff. So sometimes I spray some alcohol onto them to help clean a little. So I'm thinking maybe in the next time I might look for ones. I don't even know if they make them alcohol based anymore. When my kids were little, they did, and I had to avoid them because their poor sensitive skin did not react well to it. So anyways, that is what I'm using right now. Okay, next project. Similar but different idea here. So I've got another piece. This is kind of wet now. Hang on. And let me just wipe it off and maybe flip it over. Let's see. We'll use this side. Okay. My little puppy. Here, let's make him face the right way. Okay. Where did I put? Here we go. So I've got another piece of paper again. I've got, I wanted to put, this is the other tag that comes in the bundle. I wanted to put this on the front of my card as part of my decoration. But I know that with the paste, it's very uneven, and I didn't want it, like I didn't know, I wanted to do another cool background like this, but then how do you put the tag on? So the idea I came up with was, again, I cut out the tag out of masking paper. I cut it in half, so you could make two out of the one. And then all I'm going to do, same idea as the mittens, only it's going to be my inset spot. So it's kind of just saving me a spot to put my tag in the future, if that makes sense. So we've got our tag holder spot here, and then we're going to do a background again. This time I used, because those of you who know me know I like pink even for Christmas. So I took Blushing Bride and Petal Pink. And once again, I'm going to take some of each of the paste. So this is the matte paste. That's a lot. I don't need that much. Well, let's see. Okay. And then what I've learned is I try and like push it down so it's all together. So, because whenever you leave that little bit at the top, that's when it starts to really get easier for it to dry out. So just try and push it down with the rest of the stuff and have it last that little bit longer. And then, don't remember what I used. This is Petal Pink. So we'll put Petal Pink on the matte side. I might need 2 drops, I'm not sure, because these ones are a little bit lighter. The Blushing Bride's a bit darker, so we'll just use 1. Mix it all in. The Blushing Bride is always disappointing when I first see it, like when you first stamp it, and even Petal Pink too. I usually will stamp it, or like this, I was mixing it and I'm like, oh, this looks like brown mush, like what the heck. But then as it dries, it somehow, like, look at this, it looks, I don't know if you guys can see, but to me it looks peachy, very orangey. But somehow it becomes the right color when it dries. So you just have to trust that it'll all work out. Okay, so you can see it becomes a little bit more malleable when you add some re-inker as well, which makes your life a little bit easier. So once again, you can just like yesterday, if you saw Sarah's, she had her son, who's kind of an artsy guy, doing this. And I don't know if you've oh, there's a really dry piece in here. Some of our designer series paper, you may have noticed, I can't think off the top of my head which ones. They were made with paint anyways, and they kind of had like texture and brush strokes, and so he even had like flowery looking things coming off of his, and it's kind of cool. I am not that artsy, how you put it. So I'm just gonna do some more splattery kind of randomy. And again, just making sure that I've got like the edges of the tag so that it has that, it's kind of like a wall for my tag. Whoopsie. See if I can get like a rosette. I don't know. I wonder if I put, oh, I don't have any. I was gonna say maybe I could put some of the matte paste in the center or something. Okay. Should be good. And once again, before it dries on me, let me wipe this off. It does, if you soak it in warm water, usually it comes off pretty good. But it's, you know, once, it's kind of like I said with the, I don't know if you guys have ever done any drywall repairs, but same thing. If you leave the spackle on your tool, it just kind of ruins the tool. I learned that the hard way. Okay, so then, and I didn't put any in the hole here. You can, but then it just, again, adds bulk, especially if you're putting a ribbon in your tag. But it actually makes a good spot to try and pick up your tag. This one is a little harder. I believe I ripped it. Hey, I'm getting powder. So I'm gonna, and you guys, once again, I didn't I didn't put lint on it. Ah! What is wrong with my brain today? Okay. We're just gonna, oh no, it's not ripping well. Ah, this might be a redo kind of a thing. Okay, we got it going. Let's keep going. See, if I had put, sorry, I've got my head in the camera, I think. If I had put the lint on, it comes off so much easier. Then you're not fighting with it the whole time. And getting all pasty. And then you don't want to add paste to your nice clean part, so it makes it harder to handle here. Let's see if we can get this up. Maybe I should use the spatula side, actually. You guys know there's a spatula side to your take a pick tool. At least it's tearing on the masking paper end and not the card, which is a good thing. You wouldn't want your card to tear, although it is going to be covered by the actual tag once you get the tag in there. So again, I'm trying to tear it so that it pulls the paste away from the center, from the area you want clear. So if you delintify, this process would be so much easier. I promise you it was not this difficult when I remembered to make it a little less sticky. I mean, the good news is if you want really sticky, tacky masking paper, we've got it, but I definitely think it works way better when you add some lint to the back of it to help. And voila. Okay. Bet you guys thought that was never going to end. I probably could have stopped and let it sit, but then it probably would have gotten stuck. So there is, and this one has some pretty peaked, this one's a little high for my taste here. Just fold it over a little. Okay, so again, that's gonna have to sit and dry. You can see some of that's pretty thick. So I will set that aside, and then I will show you. I shouldn't have stuck it down, but I did, so I can't show you because I don't have a dry version. But here is the fully made dried version. So I've got the background, and then so you can see the tag sits inside of the grooves. So it's nice and flat. I could write a message. Even this part kind of sits nicely, so it sits flat. So you kind of have like that raised edge. And like I said, so here's the ribbon. And actually I totally cased the catalog on this one, if I can find, oh yeah, here. This was the mittens, the snowflakes. I kind of just took that idea and ran with it. Changed up the background, the colors, but my tag pretty much, I just thought the tag was so cute. So it's just, you know, a bunch of die cut snowflakes, die cut mittens. Again, I used the knit background stamp to stamp the mittens and then die cut them. The Be Jolly is part of that same suite with the cutouts. Like, it's such a great bundle. You've got, it has these cutouts like this Be Jolly. It also has the kind of the ribbon look cutouts. It's got this one that can cut out your happy birthday or Merry Christmas. You've got the circular one. It's a really great set. And then you've got like your hearts and your candles for birthdays and balloons, and it's not just a Christmas. Oopsie. See, sticking stuff everywhere. All right. Yeah, so this is just the other way to use it. So this one is as a kind of a placeholder for what you want to add to it. This one was just kind of a inset look. Look at I did so much of that shimmery stuff. Again, alcohol takes this off. And then we have our little snowflake package of chocolate. So those of you doing club tomorrow, you will learn how to make this cute little packet. Doesn't look like this, but the pull out and the chocolate is the same idea. So yeah, and if you are not part of club and you would like to make cards once a month, and you're interested, let me know. I have some spots available. I can always give you more information on that. Hopefully you enjoyed the project today, and we'll see you next week. All right. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday, hopefully. Bye.